Hi all, welcome to Auth series part 1. In this part 1, we are going to discuss how we can achieve authentication on OpenID protocol with Google. I'm going to show you a little bit of a part which I have already prepared in advance. I'm going to use Node.js. My Node.js version is 1910. The parts of the steps which I am going to show you are very crude. It's not that only working with Node.js. You can use these steps with any programming language of your choice or the server of your choice. So let's move ahead. I will show you my structure of project. I have an src folder here and package.json file. This is my scripts with this JSON. This is my project name, version, and the author. Apart from that, dependencies, dev dependencies. I have already installed my dependencies by using npm install command. Let's start our server by using npm start, and let me just test it out. This is working. So let me show you how we have started this server. In main file, I have mentioned index.js. In index.js, we have make promise safe and import of src server app.js file. Let's move on to src server app.js file. I have an habit of using context path with my application. It's your choice if you want to use it or not. First, we have set up an env file reader in the config.js. Whatever properties we want to provide are present in .env file. All those are read by .env we are using to manage these properties. We are using process.env all property names from the .env file. Let's move on to app.js. After that, we are creating a server and setting up the route. So let's move on to server.js file because it's a file where our server is being created. Express, server from Express, cookie parser, compression, helmet, HTTP. We are not going to use HTTPS because this is just a local server, so we do not require it. This is our setup. We also have a common error handler. Then let's set up the routes. In routes, I have prepared an context path slash status. This is where we are reading package.json file and we are sending up status and version number, as you can see. Let's try to modify it by saying app name colon package json dot name. Let's restart server. Google Auth from package.json. The auth protocol can help you out by this documentation, developers.google.com identity protocols auth2. Here all the details and steps on how we can achieve these things are present here. All the scopes, policies, everything is present here. Let's move ahead with our coding area. I have already prepared and route inside server.js, which is with an extension REST v1 auth saying brokers, and then the modules broker router and broker router. Let's move to router area. This is broker router JS, an empty file. What we are going to do and just create a server, then module dot exports equals to this router. Here we are going to create a simple path saying slash test with request response. Let's send response dot send welcome to router. Let's try out this path slash test welcome to router. Now we are going to start with our actual coding. So I have already thought of a slash login as a path inside broker router, and we are going to keep our all function inside a file named broker model. So just let's import a function from that file, and we are going to call this function with request and response. Create this function here, const. We have request and response as an input. Import module dot exports equals to, let's import this one. Done. Now the actual part to show a login page. First we have to show a login page. That can be done with very simple this 3 line of code. I will explain you each and every part how we can do this. We will require client ID and client secret from Google first. So client ID is this part. Let's see how we can generate that. What we have to do. I'm going to Google API console. Here first you have to create, okay, agree in continue or auth consent screen. We will create a project here saying, let's say auth, no organization, auth full code. Okay. Let's say it create. The app name is full code. This is our mail ID. We are going to add our mail ID as a developer information. So we have done step one or consent. Then you have to define scopes. There are three major scope which we use with OpenID is OpenID, profile. Profile will give you detailed user information from Google, and the email will give you only email. You can any time come here and edit this scope. Save and continue. Do not want to have any test user. All users are welcome. Summary, we are okay with that. So the on auth consent is ready to use. Let's go to credentials part. Create credential or auth client ID. I am going to select a web application. You can select this category depending on your requirement. Let us keep it web client one. The authorized redirect URL. The URL on which Google will send information once the authentication is successful. This is an important part. So it is HTTP colon slash slash localhost colon 3001 slash rest slash v1 slash brokers slash. We have to create one router here. I already have a router planned for this part. So this one will be an get request here. I have kept it like slash Google slash success. We are good to go. This is our major information which we wanted is client ID and client secret. So let's copy client ID and Keep it handy in .env file on saying client ID, then client secret. In callback URL, I have already kept it like HTTP localhost 3001, and this is the path which we have registered inside Google app. This is Google scope, which is email. Now show Google page. Here what we will require isn't state, a challenge. This challenge we will require again when we want to retrieve the information from the code which Google is going to send to us. So I will keep it as a global variable. Are good to go. Now the URL is https accounts.google.com/o/o2/v2/auth, and the parameters which we have to pass is client ID, which we are getting from .env file. We are getting response type as a code. Scope is email. Direct URL which we have registered inside the Google. State will be any random UUID. I will show you all the values by keeping this breakpoint. And at the end, we are going to redirect this request. The status code will be 301 for this request. Let's say login. Uh, Config is not defined. Yep. We have to import config. Let's just import all this part in advance. CI, which we get from Google. Scope is email, and the callback URL which we have registered inside Google. This is our URL which is formed. See, this is invalid. Redirect URI mismatch. Okay. I have done a mistake in success spelling here. Let's save it and again try to log in. env, let's test it out here. Start server. Yes, we have it. I am just going to repeat this one with network tab open so that you can see what is going to happen here. We'll go on top. We hit our request. It was 302. Then we went to our URL which we have redirected to. Now we will require a function which is going to handle our success part. So let's copy this function and move it here. I'm going to import it and use it here. Keep a breakpoint on this part. We also have to export this new function. Login page. Click REST v1 brokers. Okay. Google and success. So it is in the server. we are missing slash auth basically in the Google area. So let's go to .env rest v1 slash auth slash brokers. I will come back here again and just copy paste and update it here. Login, it's done. If we will go to request dot theory, you can see all the information which is sent by Google. We have a code, we have a consent, scope, state, auth user 0. Now, second part of this step is to retrieve information from this code. The URL from which we can retrieve is o2googleapis.com slash token. Now I am going to make just a call with header application slash form URL encoded. Method type is post. I am going to pass code which I get from the request from the Google. Now CI is our client ID which we have generated from Google. Client secret we have also generated from Google. Redirect URL it's the same. Grant type is authorization underscore code, and this is important part. It's the same code which is generated here, the same challenge value which we have to pass here, or else it is not going to work. Now this REST call, what does it do? Let's open it up. I'm using node hyphen fetch here. It's a simple call with the fetch saying we are using this URL with this headers and the response converting into response.json with the promise, and we are calling success or failure depending on the outcome. Let's try it out. Let's see what is token URL. This one, all this value. Cannot read properties of undefined code. Yes. We have passed request and response here. We have request and let's try to resimulate this part. Let's just remove it. We do have request.code here. We have CI, we have CS, this is present. This time we got it. Now, if you will see response, it is ID token and access token. Mostly in ID token, you will get all the profile information from the Google. This token has three parts. First part is header, second part is actual data. So we are splitting it separated by dot. So we are splitting it from the dot. Then we have to just base 64 decode it. The base 64 decoding is like this. It's a simple decoding. You can use it, the similar code which I have here. Now, this the information which we get. Email is completecodesolutions@gmail.com. Perfect. Now, let's try to change the scope to profile and see what will happen. You can see from this area with the profile, we are also getting picture, given name, family name, locale, extra information now at our hand. You can have multiple scopes also, email plus profile. It's our choice what we want to do. I am going to publish this sample code over GitHub. This is the area where we have written this all code with the Node.js, but the steps are pretty simple. It's just create a one request with the challenge, CI, scope, redirect URI, redirect to that URL. Then after success, just use code and get the client data from client ID, secret, redirect URI. The steps can be follow up in any programming languages of your choice. Thanks a lot for watching this video full. This is GitHub link. You can get all the data which we have done here, all the code in this repo. The channel name is @full code solutions.